What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the video. This is week one of what will be 16 weeks of videos leading up to my ultramarathon in July. I am training for a 50K and I will be competing in the Chase the Moon 12-hour race in Highlands Ranch, Colorado on July 19th. Now, of course, a 12-hour race is not just a 50K, but what I am training for is to go at least the 50K distance, and then whatever happens from there will be a bonus on top of that. If you're anything like me, going into a 16-week training block feels daunting. Doesn't matter if you took rest to prepare or if you're coming fresh out of a alternate 4-week block, you're not gonna feel completely prepared and ready for 16 weeks of hard, consistent work. That in mind, the focus for me is really just to take it a day at a time, focus on the workout for that day, and let things come to you as they need to. It's easy to look down the line, look at workouts that are weeks in advance and wonder how you're going to accomplish that. But that's when it comes down to trusting your coaches, trusting your workout program, and understanding that you will get there. You just have to do the work one block at a time. Before we talk about how I currently feel after this week and how I am preparing for next week, let's talk about the work that I actually did. On Monday, we had a 60-minute easy workout. It was raining that day. Had to keep it a little bit light, make sure I was being careful in some spots. Fairly easy pace. Tuesday was also an aerobic day. Kept it pretty easy. As you can see, got a little bit further because we weren't dealing with the rain that day. Wednesday was a fartlek workout that was 50 minutes and it was 6 by 40, I believe. I'll put this all on the screen so that you can see it. The next day on Thursday, we did some cross training. It's something that I've really enjoyed inside this block, and all of the blocks I've done from Sally McRae is she incorporates a lot of cross training, which is just a nice break. It builds up your fitness, but it gives you the mental break, lets you enjoy another aspect of training. For this week, I ended up cycling and getting some work in there. Really enjoyable, nice way to change up the week, but still get in some volume. Then on Friday, just as a giant windstorm was blowing into Colorado, I had an hour-long aerobic run. I'll tell you, nothing is more humbling than running into 20-mile-an-hour sustained headwinds with 40-mile-an-hour gusts. Really checks your ego. The important thing in this scenario is just to focus on your effort, not worry about pace, because you are not going to be able to hold that consistently. But as long as you're keeping your effort in check, that's really the goal of a aerobic run anyway. Sunday was our long run day. It was just prescribed as 2 hours easy. As much as I can, I try to get trails incorporated at least in some part of the run if I am not going to be running on or around the race course. Fortunately for me, because the race is in Highlands Ranch, it's in a mostly public trail system, I can go and run on the actual course, so I will try to do that as often as I can. In this case, I didn't have the time to go and drive back and forth, but I did incorporate a large chunk of trail to make sure I'm getting time on feet in the kind of terrain that I'm expecting myself to perform in and race in. One of the biggest concerns for me going into this block, and with hindsight now, I'm not too worried about it, but I was looking at the volume increase I was going to be jumping into compared to even the recent training blocks that I used to lead into this. I haven't gone 40 miles consistently in a week, let alone more than that in a while. Even during my marathon training a couple years ago, I don't know if I was hitting 40 miles consistently. I think I was doing 30s, upper 30s, maybe a 40 here and there. The last time I'd even done this before I started this 16-week block was in Indianapolis. I was on vacation. I had time to rest each day. I ended up doing a 50-mile week, but it's at sea level. It's flat. It's a much different environment than doing 40 miles around where I live, where it's hilly. You're up in altitude. It's just a completely different game. So coming into this, I had some hesitancies, but I'm happy to say that after this week, I feel very confident in my strength, all the work I did leading up to this actual block, and I really contribute a lot of that to the type of training that I was doing. It's easy to put on volume over time, But if you want to ensure that your body is going to hold up, I've said it ad nauseum already, and I'm not even that far into doing YouTube or creating content, but you need to be lifting weights. And that has become incredibly apparent during this block, and just feeling the fitness and feeling the strength that I have in hills, in longer mileage. My body has been able to recover much quicker than I had anticipated, and I am really happy that I put in the work that I did. Not only doing a small block leading into it, because running does help. Ultimately, that's what we were doing, but putting in the time, lifting and building a robust system has paid off in a very tremendous way, and that was super obvious going throughout this week. I am only a week in at this point, and hopefully none of this comes back to bite me or haunt me, but I've never felt more confident, more ready, more fit going into a block than I feel right now. I've done marathon blocks in the past. I've done even 5K blocks in the past where I am coming in and I'm tired. My body is tight. I feel like I am redlining constantly. And after this week, I don't feel any of that. Part of that probably plays into the fact that I am actually doing what I can to recover. That's been something that I have consistently had to work on in the past. And by work on, I mean I didn't do it at all. And then I would try to do it and it would be too much and I wouldn't be able to be consistent. But really in this week, I tried to be purposeful in building the habits that I will hopefully carry throughout the next 15 weeks of training. One of those things has been red light therapy. That has been more to be consistent on waking up in the morning, as well as ensuring that I am giving my body a little bit of extra help working on inflammation, working within my upper body and keeping that nice and loose. I tend to be very tight and tense, especially with my job. I'm sitting at desks for prolonged hours. I'm moving a mouse around and typing a lot, so I tend to get very tense in my upper body, and that's been very helpful for that. Another thing that I've incorporated and have not in the past is I've been using my hot tub a lot more consistently. It's really one of those things where I've tried to pay attention to all the elite athletes that I follow on YouTube. What are they doing? Do I have availability to do those things? Yes. So I'm doing those things, and I'm doing them in a way that makes sense for me. Obviously, I don't have hours a day to promote recovery, but what I can do is find the time that I have and use it wisely. And that has brought me to a place where going into week 2, I feel ready and just as strong as I did going into week 1, if not better, because now I have a week of training in. A little bit of the daunting aspect of going into the training is now past me, and it's really just about executing day over day. I think the biggest lesson I learned during this block is that consistency beats everything. It's going to be doing hero sessions. It's going to beat working harder than everyone else. Everyone can work hard. Everyone can do a hero session, but the people that consistently outperform and feel capable and ready are those that are incredibly consistent. And that is one thing that has proven itself to be very true in the training and how I felt this week. I've been consistent for 8 weeks leading up to this, and I have been consistent even in this week, just making sure that the training is getting done. And consistency doesn't mean that you are perfect, but it means that if you miss a day, you're moving it to another day. If you aren't able to get a full volume workout, you're not able to get your run and your lift in on the same day, you're moving that lift or that run to another day to get it done. Consistency is just making sure that you are getting the work done over time and that you are not ultimately cheating yourself by pushing things off to a point where they just don't get done. And that takes a lot of balance, and that takes a lot of work and discipline. And the more that you can implement that into every other aspect of your life, the easier it's going to be, and the stronger that muscle, that mental muscle is going to be when you go and implement it when you are running. So let's face it, running is hard. It sucks most of the time. It only feels great when you look back and you see all the miles that you've done. But if you have the ability to work on your discipline at work on your consistency in your relationships at home, making sure things are being taken care of, when you go and do probably what is for most people the hardest thing they have to do in a day, it's much easier to just go and get it done. And the more consistent you are, the better off you will be, and the more ready and excited you'll be to go and tackle the block that you have. I'm really looking forward to everything that's to come in the rest of this training block. I hope you all are as well, and you are all out there crushing your own individual blocks, your own training, whatever you're going after. Looking forward to taking you all with me on this journey. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. Turn on the post notifications so that you see new videos right when they come out. I am trying to post shorts and other content as much as I can as well. Hopefully you're all enjoying those. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, helps people just like you find this content. And we will see you all next week.